Hello again, dear friends, and welcome to today's agenda. After starting our day with an energizing tip, it's time to hit the road, heading toward the sunny surf paradise Jardim do Mar. After a scenic walk, we'll continue on to Ponta do Bargo Cape for our next stroll. From there, we pass through Porto Muniz, another beautiful seaside town, before heading on to Seixal for our second, slightly sketchier swim of the day. But actually, we also made a couple of brief stops that were not pre-planned, first of them being quite close to our starting point. Days ago, we had noticed a mysterious cliff-top building while walking at Praia da Galheta. Today, our route happened to pass right by it, so we took the chance to check it out. Turns out it was a contemporary arts museum. Sadly though, since it was Sunday, the museum was closed, so we just loitered around a bit and admired the views. And then we drove on. Jardim do Mar, meaning basically the garden at the sea, is a gorgeous little oceanside settlement. It's also known as a popular spot for surfers, but for some reason we didn't spot any during our visit. Maybe the waves just were not big enough that day, though they were definitely loud enough, crashing against the shore. The lack of surfers didn't dampen our experience though. We were more than happy to enjoy our walk and beautiful views all around. The beach promenade stretches about 800 meters, and at its end there's a stairway leading up into the narrow hillside streets of the village. That's the path we took, and dove into lovely, picturesque local milieu. Streams of water flowing down the steep slopes have played an important role in local life. This is an old watermill that once worked year-round, serving the village and its neighbors. Restored beautifully, it is now a cherished piece of local heritage. After checking out the mill and reaching the upper edge of the village, we paused to figure out our next steps. Our friends decided to head back down to the shaded streets below, while Lisa and I chose to continue exploring uphill. To be frank, we didn't really know what we went to find going up the mountainside. Much later, I found out that there is actually a quite long hiking trail beginning at the upper quarters of Jardim do Mar, and for a while we probably were on it. Then again, we must have gotten off of it somewhere, because our trail was getting quite narrow and sticky. We ended up in a rather dense thicket, and at one point I literally ran into a wall. But as the longer hike wasn't anyway in our agenda for the day, and we saw quite insane views even during our little misadventure, we weren't really sad to be heading back down. we certainly considered our visit to Jardin du Mar a success. And with that, it was time to move on. The road was calling, and there was still a lot ahead of us. Reaching our next destination, we parked at Miradura da Fia, a little ways from the very end of the Ponta do Pargo Cape, equipped ourselves with ice creams from local cafe, and gazed upon the rugged coastal cliffs for a while, before taking a walk across the meadow toward the western tip of the cape. While filming the cliffs, I forgot myself for a bit, and suddenly realized that the others had already made it back to the car, so it was time for me to follow. While editing this video, I found out that a large golf course is now being built here, set to be completed in 2026, so I'm glad we got to see the place before, in its rugged rustic beauty. Next stop was another not pre-planned one. While waiting at the parking lot for me to return, my travel companions discovered that nearby there's a place with a nice view of a 140 meters high waterfall called Garganta Funda, which appears to mean deep throat in English. Naturally, we decided to check it out. That sure was a nice little side trip. We really enjoyed the view of the waterfall and the overall surroundings, the ocean, the greenery, and some houses in various stages of life. The town of Porto Muniz is absolutely lovely, but in this road trip it was more of a waypoint. So, after a short leg stretch, we got back to our car and proceeded southeast, straight into the tunnel. As such, I don't have much footage about the drive, since a good chunk of it happened underground. But tunnels, while not exactly a visual feast, do make drives shorter, and before we knew it, we were already in Seychelles, driving down the curvy oceanside path toward our next stop. As I've come to understand, there are actually fine natural pools also in Porto Muniz, which are quite tourist famous, but the ones in Seychelles, though not as popular, are a bit more raw and untamed. Anna! Regardless of the water temperature being below expectations, I had come too far to call it quits now. Luckily, it was only a little bit scary, no emergency services needed, and we were able to proceed to concluding our road trip without any problems.